Okay, part two, Daryl. Artist in recovery. 3:39 in the morning, West Coast time. It's the Sunday, the 27th of April, 2025. Okay, so my characterization from the previous video was coming into Connecticut to destroy your state. Why? Because I can. Because I'm an egomaniac. I've got Brandon's family. I've got power, wealth, influence. I've got everything else I need to destroy your state. Why? Because I can. My ego is running like crazy, and I decided to destroy a state for the fun of it. I want to make America great again by making it very industrious, by tearing apart every natural resource I certainly can, and making it industrious. Got something for you. Before I destroy California for you, and I'm going to take your place as an evil person who wants revenge on California. So before we go over here, the Lornax. Dr. Seuss's Lornax. You ever seen the cartoon when it came out in the 70s? I speak for the trees, the trumpula trees. You know, they made a movie out of that. Almost a live action, almost a computer animated. I like the old fashioned animations. I'm sorry I grew up under that thing. Oh, there she goes again. She must feel bad. You want to talk about one that wants to destroy. Mama, come on. Come here. Come here. Come here. She wants me to go into the bedroom with her. Come here. And she's going to turn away, or she's going to get him. Here, come here. Come here. Hang on a second. You done yet? Come here. Yeah, well, you're the one fussing. Yeah, well, you are fussing. You're a fuss budget. You want right now. Me, I'm just going to embarrass the crap out of you. Who's got the power more? Trump or this idiot? I can't say. Yes, she's my dog. So Lornax in the cartoon was an environmental message for us all. Wasting resources. I mean, it was eventually, clear to me in that particular aspect. But look at it a little deeper on that one. Corporate greed, megalomania, control. We want, we want, we want. There's always something a little subtle on that damn thing. A simple cartoon, and we can look at subtleties, and then we can look at it and tear it apart and say, this is what he's been thinking about. Only because when we have a lifetime of looking at how corporations and companies really run, some of the smaller guys out there have an idea what they want to do. Not all of them are good, but all of them are still trying to make their way through business and through life. The corporates, the mega donors and the billionaires out there, all they want is more and more and more, suck everything else up. So me pretending to be a schmuck coming into Connecticut, I want to suck up every damn thing out of your state and be an asshole. Until there's going to be a Lornax saying, I speak, there's no more trees for me to speak to. And yet, Dr. Seuss left a small bit of hope in that cartoon of a seed. Now, me being a pain in the ass, I'll probably see the Lornax. Either I'll probably cry as he leaves, or just laugh at his face. But it's usually the guy who's going to be doing the crime because he just realized what the hell he's done. He's got to pass it up to a future generation, hopefully, to regrow their trumpula trees. They can be used as a lot of examples on that one, Daryl. So, if I want to destroy California, where would we destroy first? I mean, there's a lot of things we could destroy in California. California's a great state. Of course, Canada would be nice getting it if if we could sell it off to Canada. Portions of it. How about Denmark? I mean, would Denmark have an issue with our states? I mean, clearly we want Greenland. Clearly, we want Canada. And clearly, we want the Panama Canal, which I think we own. For corporations. Because we have China over there, we have a problem with that, don't we? I hear you, Mama. I hear you. Should have been back in bed sleeping, lady. But then again, you'd be whining for me again. So, hold you for a few. Okay. You done yet? You okay? The innocent victims. We never did see them coming, do we? Except in our own human actions and inactions and decisions and no decisions. What really is close to us usually gets it worse. My decisions of taking care of her affect her a great deal. I'm affected by other factors and other stuff. Her ears driving her crazy. I got to check in the credit, and then I got to get some appointments going for this dog. I got lousy credit anyway. My decisions have already affected me a great deal. What makes America great? Our own damn ego. And how we treat things or mistreat things. That's how it is. So, let me destroy California. I'm you. I'm going to destroy California. I'm going to head back to my town of Roseman first. And let's just say that I actually acquired wealth, power, greed, and everything else in my lifetime. I am going to go back to where I am, Roseman, California. Want to join me? Open up Google Maps. Hang on. Okay, so I get her settled down a little bit. Going through things like this, talking about corporations destroying everything because they want the money. And they'd be willing to destroy a lot of things just to get their profits continued. You know, I kept saying history, 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 right? If we actually studied our economic history throughout our country, according to the professors I studied with, we had survived in our own lifetime, Daryl. Catastrophes that would have been putting people out homeless, jobs lost. I think we already had that back in 2007, 2008. But the market for the housing bubble burst and COVID. But prior to that, we weren't facing this kind of catastrophe, but our grandparents were. I'm not just talking about World War II. I'm talking about earlier than that. My grandmother and I had a great aunt as well, both sisters. Aunt May was 2 or 3 years older than Grandma. And they lived through the Depression. Ma was born in 38. So she didn't understand about the Depression. But Grandma and Aunt May, they did. But the thing is, I never heard stories from them. I never heard stories from them concerning about how the Depression affected them. I wish I had. I've heard a little bit of stories about my grandmother and my aunt being part of the suffragette movement concerning about women's rights and women having vote. That I understood. But the Depression, I wish I heard more about it. That would be affecting a lot of things in my life having that piece of knowledge, studying about it in books and seeing how the numbers were. Just you have to hear the stories from your own relatives to see how they survived it, what they did. There are stories on YouTube about it. We'll talk about the Great Dust Bowl. It wasn't just atmospheric problems, and they thought the Dust Bowl was just something by nature. It was also created by man. Without having the farming instrumentations, without having uh, seed, without having it soiled up. Not to mention, we also had yeah, actually, we did have weather conditions changing things around, but drying up the soil and making people move. There are great books talking about this thing. And made into great movies about survival. And it scares me. It scares me that we may turn into that situation again. We depended upon foreign food coming in because of our own breadbasket dying and drying up. But we had better relations with them back in the 20s and 30s and 40s than we did right now. That's what scares me the most. Screw the oil prices going down. Apparently, for what I've been learning, Trump's been screwing around with the damn tariffs and with the Saudi Arabians, that they're keeping the price down, flooding our market, flooding the market. We'll have cheap gas for a while, but then everything else is going to be drying up. America being great. When was that? America has always had its hardships, good times and bad times, but when were the good times? All we keep saying is bad times. When was the time when actually America was actually a shining beacon of hope? Shit, give me a break. We've always had our racial tensions. We've always trying to show that one class is better than the other. And that also includes the class of the wealth. They never liked it. They wanted more and more. Try this one. Try this an experiment in your head. Say you're in the Great Land Rush back in 1800s. And you heard that there was territory opened up. You find a spot, take all day to gouge this thing up, and by the time you're done, your body says, forget it. Drop dead. The only spot that you're only available for is 6 feet. 6 feet under, and the size of your body. Depressed? How do you think I feel? I'm not like one of those guys looking for that kind of thing. I'm just a guy trying to survive in the big cities. Survive in an apartment that derives charity from, well, back in the 1800s we didn't have it. But these days, since the 1930s and 40s, we've had social. And now we can't even depend upon that because we've got the greed coming up. We're so great that we have greed destroying the world in one way or another. It makes me scared as hell about it. I don't know about you, but sometimes I wake up scared as hell, waking up and just wanted to stay asleep. Dream the whole damn thing away, or at least if I'm going to die in my sleep, at least I'll have a pleasant dream to fade into. I don't know what we're going to do, Daryl. I swear to God, I don't know. I don't know why these people want so damn much. There have been books, there have been plays, there have been movies about dystopias like this. about how resources are dried up because our incessant need to be extreme consumerisms is to suck up the planet, and then what? Musk says, we have to go to Mars, we got to go to Mars, we got to go to Mars. China is trying to get itself together by doing some deep space. Not to mention, we're trying to get Mars base, moon base going up, but Mars, I think China wants to go out to there. They want to explore. Well, let them have fun with it. But they explore, they get territory. We don't. And if they happen to get territory, are we going to be fighting over the damn thing? Maybe in a good way. I was reading a lot of stuff and trying to figure this shit out. Not just in classes, but, just trying to figure things out in general. And yeah, it makes me nervous and scared. Just how we're supposed to be able to deal with right now. What tomorrow's going to be like. I'm not just talking about Monday. I'm talking about down the road. We're talking about America being great. You know what was, what was really a pisser back in the 1980s, and I was talking to some people about this one. My school was changing a great deal back in the 80s. The whole damn district was changing. Los Angeles Unified School District was not the greatest, but it was one I survived through. And there were programs disappearing, teachers retiring, programs shutting down. You ever heard of home ec? I barely heard of it in junior high. We didn't have it. If we actually did have it, well, I didn't see much of it. I do home ec at home. Home ec was trying to teach you how to survive at home, but also out there in the real world. I understood a little bit of the fundamentals of it. A routine. You keep at it. You keep up a certain behavior. You're there early enough to get in, get the job done, and get it done, and get it going. You mind? Thank you. Yeah, I kind of. I'd had to do home ec all at home. Learn how to clean things. Learn how to cook. Vacuum. Be a man Friday. But in school, they dropped it out. We barely had music class. We barely had musical. We barely had a band. I think they still kept it, but their old teachers are dead or died up or anything. We used to have in school auto. You learned about auto mechanics. I think I took the last class for driver's ed and driver's training. Scared the shit out of me in that one. We had theater drying up. We had programs dying and drying because we didn't have the funding for it. We had teachers who were underpaid, overworked, still are. And they're still trying to fight for every damn dollar they get. And then I started hearing about the charters coming out. And this is well after I graduated. It was one thing having the Catholic churches doing their own schools. We had several of them. Now I think we had a lot more than in the San Fernando Valley. I've heard about them, just never been part of it. I wasn't Catholic. Didn't matter. If you weren't Catholic or not, you learned Catholicism in there. You learned about religion, but also you learned about history and everything else the nuns would teach you. They had to be certified. They had to be board certified. Certified with states. I don't know if they're still that way or not. I rarely heard growing up of homeschooling. It was only after I graduated after high school that I started hearing about that stuff. Homeschooling, dude. That's where your parents, if you actually had any, were going to teach you things at home. Not from old broken down books, but from whatever material they had that would satisfy the minimum requirements the state would give you. Well, that you're supposed to pass these qualification steps. What I heard. You know what we also had around high schools? Continuation schools. This is for some of those who actually had issues with the mainstream and had to be put into, like it's the Alcatraz of high school. You still had to satisfy the state and the county and the school board, but you're off away from everybody. You're locked away in this place. Back in the San Fernando Valley. That's where I was, grew up in. I think I bored the crap out of you with that one there, dude. So I'm heading back to my old alma mater of John F. Kennedy High School in Granada Hills, California. And if you want a geographical location, it's right by the 118 freeway that runs right through the San Fernando Valley in the northern end, northern portion of it, from the west to the east. From Deer Lake Highlands to Cagle Canyon area. Actually, until it reaches the 210 freeway. But the area where I'm at, there is a hump on the screen and just kind of a curve. In that curve area of Granada Hills, California, you'll see the current area of John F. Kennedy High School. Back in the 80s, a lot formatted, changed. And I don't know if some of the things are still there or not for it. But they still kept it, apparently. J. Adams High School. This was the continuation school. This is where if you had screwed up in your life over at Kennedy, this is where you get stuck at. Give me a PDF file picture of this thing. Of its current change of the area. I lived in this area from 79 through 84, 85, I think. Used to be home. And John F. Kennedy High School was the alma mater. I still got a school ring. Okay, high school. But there's been a lot of changes on Woodley and San Fernando Mission in that area. But Jane Adams would be the place that you would have to continue with your education. If you couldn't do it in the main, they had room for you over there, and you learned. I don't know about the PE, the physical education that they were supposed to be teaching you, but back then they actually had a little bit of a courtyard. I've never been there. I've only seen the pictures of the place. And I got depressed as hell over it, too. There have been so many changes on this campus for a long while that I can't deal with it. When we had a 1994 earthquake, Daryl, it tore up our valley. There had been a lot of changes. Even my school had to go through physical reconstruction. I don't recognize the place anymore. I don't. Got the memories of the place. I've got a school book about it. Lost my old school book. Picked up a new one. But I'm just depressed about my old campus. I'm getting too damn old. America, great? Shit. We're lucky enough we actually survived, dude. If we were going to survive at all. And I'm not quite so sure about it anymore, to tell you the truth. If we were going to be a better school, if we were going to be better people, I think we lost that a long time ago. I don't know what's going on in Trump's head, okay? I have no clue what's going on with that lunatic. The only thing I know is he's just as worse as I am when it comes down for remember when. And some of the stuff he was hearing about, he thought it was going to be controlling everything instead of making things worse. A lot of people say impeach the guy. Well, yeah, then you got J.D. Vance. But after you get J.D. Vance, then what do you got after him? You got Speaker Johnson. Johnson's the key. Johnson's you got to get rid of. Get rid of that asshole. Maybe you got a chance for maybe change. But if not, yeah. But the other question is, who do you put into office? Uh, who do you put in office for that one? I better head back. She's already sleeping. Gives me a chance to sneak back in and sleep. Daryl, we'll keep in touch.